Tēnā koutou katoa, ko ingarangi me ko tirana whakapaparanga mai, ko tekepo te whenua, ko wanaka te kāinga, hey somatic sexologist au, and mother, adventurer, project manager, and student of psychology, ko Sonia Waters au, tēnā tātou katoa. This presentation is like a Pecha Kucha speed date. In the next 12 minutes, I share snippets of my pathway to being a somatic sexologist and the main themes from my master's research, a qualitative study that asks, what happens when one steps through the shame and taboo of masturbation and practices embodied self-pleasure? From there, you may ask me anything. My journey into sexology started on a personal quest to do better at relationships. I was an expert at leaving them. I loved the new relationship energy without knowing that was a thing. I'd leave complacency, and sometimes they left me. The common denominator was me. And so began my personal journey into making and keeping sex and relationships interesting and somehow satisfying, worth staying for. After several years of intensive cathartic experiences with ISTA, shamanic womb journeys, and online pleasure courses, I came across the Institute of Somatic Sexology, a place where people train in embodied counseling and in sexological bodywork. I'm now on my 3rd year of training there. In a quest to bring somatic bodywork into mainstream therapy, I decided to launch onto this psychology pathway. My aim of doing the final PG dip to register next year is being thwarted, though, by finding an internship in the South Island. So I insert a thread for you to ponder. Any ideas? And now back to masturbation, or rather, embodied self-pleasure. ESP. The words are not hyphenated. They're independently important to the practice in which one sets an intention, for example, to explore different types of touch on the whole body. Set a timer so there are no thoughts of time, and in privacy, with no goal for orgasm or pressures from the outside world, practice. Attention. If attention wanders, come back to intention, free of judgment, full of curiosity. Trainee sexological bodyworkers practice ESP and as part of their coursework regularly write about their experiences and post those to their online class forum. They give each other feedback and the coaches provide positive comment, reflections and ideas for further exploration. 8 willing graduates of the Sexological Bodywork course participated in this qualitative, longitudinal, phenomenological study. 6 women, 2 men from Australia, Spain, the UK, US, and Aotearoa, New Zealand. They shared with me their during training forum posts, and after graduating from the course, they spent an hour with me on Zoom in semi-structured one-on-one interviews. After diving into the transcripts with Clark and Brown's thematic analysis method, I've surfaced with 4 superordinate themes. It's a journey of self-discovery. ESP is a joyful practice. In practicing ESP, there is a freedom from judgment. ESP is a meditation. Indeed, there's a certain magic to it. First, we explore the journey of self-discovery. The erotic self is forever evolving and can be discovered at moments in life like doing ESP. All the participants discovered something new. Demi discovered her bisexuality and identity as fluid. Johnny learned to connect with his emotions and love sex not solely for satisfaction but for the sensations of pleasure and connection. JT transitioned from being intensity-focused with problematic porn use to enjoying the subtle nuances of his bodily pleasures. And starfish evolved from erotic intensity to a less thrilling erotic subtlety and then found a kind of sexual maturity. Discovering the erotic self through new pathways to pleasure is empowering and extends to all aspects of life. Vanessa explains how working on her sex stuff changes how she shows up in the world, more connected and present, and that doing the work integrates into everyday life. The pathway to self-discovery is hard work. It takes a long time and can be really challenging. Practicing ESP means doing things differently to before, which can be confronting and emotional work. CB's usual pleasure practice was lying down. She found being asked to practice standing up hugely confronting, as in a mindfuck. Putting in the effort and doing the work was worth it for life-changing outcomes. Accessing new pathways to embodied pleasure meant, for example, those struggling with porn could make it a choice rather than a necessity. Entering trance and supernatural erotic states through ESP were profound experiences for several participants. That it was worth it come with comments such as, "I just love the work so much," and "It's been life-changing." The second main theme is that ESP is a joyful practice. It's goal-free. It's about self-love. There will be resistance, and taking orgasm off the table is a damned good start. ESP is a goal-free practice, which means experiencing pleasure through feeling and noticing sensations in the body without aiming for anything, such as orgasm. That was both challenging and liberating. ESP is also intentional. Attention comes back to an embodied intention. An important aspect of this is the permission one feels to explore anything and everything in the safety of their own company. Regular practice of ESP deepens a sense of self-connection and self-love, which builds contentment and an acceptance of what is. Demi speaks of self-pleasure and self-love as a beautiful healing process. Helping with body image issues was a theme for several participants. Vanessa expresses this being present as meeting a soul hunger in full acceptance of what is. There is a supernatural element in doing ESP where nothing else matters, and an opportunity to leave the real world behind, to focus on and be with the self. Resistance is par for the course, but if one meets resistance with curiosity and stays on the right side of it, there will be growth and pleasure. Noticing the resilient edge of resistance and understanding the importance of staying on the right side, not the side of chaos, was a point of teaching in the coursework and an important learning. As noted earlier, orgasm is not the goal of ESP. But if orgasm does happen, it's joyful and often positively different to the way it was. Orgasmic pleasure was experienced as bigger, more expansive, longer lasting. The value of doing ESP for the new and exciting pleasure experiences cannot be underestimated. For Demi, the resolution of anorgasmia and discovery of multiple orgasms was thanks to feeling permission to explore and learn in unconditional acceptance. It can be about learning in areas of intensity or experiencing the sensations of subtlety. The third theme is freedom from society's judgment. Doing pleasure is framed by Christian beliefs that masturbation is bad and you can be too wanting of too much pleasure. Society's judgments and shame trials affect all manner of ways in which we live. Finding freedom from judgment and shame opens the body to new pleasures and ways of being in the world. Society's judgment constrains the way we live, particularly when it comes to the way one does sex, relationships, and pleasure. Family, friends, people at work, school, and even the banks have something to say about the morals and ethics of sex. Everyone has an opinion, and those views create extremely complex minefields for erotic explorers, whether they be the completely uninitiated or highly experienced. Being free of judgment and unconditional acceptance or full permission unlocks a certain freedom in the body, which is physical, tangible. As Starfish notes, it's in the unconditional acceptance of their fellow students that they felt they are stepping through society's shame and taboo and experiencing complete acceptance. When JT lets go of his own judgment, his body responds naturally, of its own accord. For many, the full permission to be with what is was profound. Practicing ESP helped participants manage mental health. They felt relief from stress. JT found being embodied helped bring him up from emotional downs. Celeste, with ADHD, used self-touch to manage overwhelming situations. Johnny noted being embodied helped reduce stress in daily life. Vanessa was free of anxiety through the on-site part of the training. As Celeste says, we have the capacity to support ourselves in ways that feel beneficial and comfortable. The last superordinate theme is that ESP is a meditation, indeed a magical one. It's a solo practice where intention returns attention to sensations and awareness of the whole somatic body. Time disappears. Bodies move of their own intuition. Being completely immersed in the experience allows the stresses of the day to fall away. Starfish summed it up perfectly when they said, self-pleasure is really a meditation, and meditation is really a pleasure. Doing ESP brought on states of flow, trance, and meditative altered consciousness. The lived experience of these states, the embodiment and feeling of them, made them believable and repeatable. As Celeste said, you believe it when you feel it. I invite you now to breathe, feel into your body, and see what questions rise. Ngā mihi nui.